Okay, so we are working. Actually, Pablo was helping me doing a visual model of the mathematical formalization I was trying to kind of make. But I thought this was a very good visual cue to understand the model of how we learn. And I don't know, I was very excited about it. And today with Marandita, we were talking about how difficult it is to understand. And it's actually not difficult to understand. It's because I am very bad at communicating. It's actually very simple. But I think visually it's easier for me to explain. So basically, what our brain does, or at least mine, and this can be obviously scaled, is that without noticing, like unconsciously, we are gathering data or information in time. So as time passes by, we kind of pick, like our brain picks up a lot of information that we are not necessarily conscious about all of it. It enters our sensory channels, but without you knowing, autonomously, your brain kind of organizes this information, whether you like it or not, and also integrates this. So this is what it's called sensorial integration. But because people with giftedness or autism, we experience different ways of integrating information. We structure and gather information in a very different way than average, which means that data is kind of fragmented. This is a problem because, first of all, your brain is forced to gather a lot of information, because when people integrate data, they keep it as information and then can create knowledge with this. But this is very limited. So actually, what they keep is also very limited. Because we have different ways of integrating information, we keep a lot of information that is kind of useless. Because it's not apparently or consciously connected with anything. So this makes our brains have the capacity to have a lot of this information, but without really being conscious of it, because you're only conscious of the ones that you can integrate. So this could be, I'm just like, here's painted just one piece of information that probably it could be connected in some way, right? So it's so this piece of information is gathered alongside with a lot of other data. Sorry, it's not information, this is data. It's kind of raw and you don't know why you remember it, but actually it is related. And you can even expand on this just data, right? So it can be a little bit, it can start like something very little, but then you kind of expand on it. And if each of one of these planes would be on stage of life, for example, or like we could say that this line is time, then you kind of gather, as time passes by, kind of gather more data related in some way, because this is red, so the red will be related to that in a way. And then you keep gathering, right? So then something happens, and it's that, so this is what this is called insight or intuitive knowledge, but it kind of adds up, and then you change the view. In a way, that's how people feel it also, that okay, now I feel things, now I can see this in a different way. And it's just like literally you seeing it from a different point of view. That the only thing that does, so that would be hard, right? So you see things in a different way or from a different point of view, and actually you it's like an experience that helps you connect all these things together. This is not a very good model. This is for something else. But what you see is the zigzag that I don't have at this moment. But the zigzag, which would be hard, is what makes you kind of connect all these things together, or at least have a feel that you have a grasp of it. This is also how intuitive learning works on standard people. So I will not get into the details of this, but so what I did in my life was kind of do this same thing, but with the thing which is learning or connecting information or integrating a lot of data into like to design experience, to understand what experiences in humans, especially in neurodivergence, let them connect all this information at the same time. And this is a key point to heal, like in what healing means in like the spiritual way. It's not very spiritual, it's just physics and neuroscience and your brain, and or what we call in therapy an intervention that's effective, that creates change in behavior. So it's basically this, or learning basically. So what I did in my life was trying to understand this, scale this, optimize this to create experiences that connect as many dots as you can do at the same time. Because this is another thing that happens, which is that this can increase exponentially also, because the more an experience you create that connects all the dots, the more the person matures and learns. This is something that I want to test in like obviously with MRIs or images, but there is enough data today, and I'm trying to contact people so I can have data of this, of how insight or intuition looks like in the brain. But there's a lot of data explaining this, and this is not new. I'm just connecting the information and implementing it in a very practical way and teachable way. So I hope you understood. I'll leave it more now, but this looks very complicated, but it's not if you can apply this to yourself and implement it, and you will understand better. But yeah, this is not the right model. I'm trying tornado. This is like for predictive thinking, not intuitive. But what I wanted to say also is that, because maybe for me it's obvious, but yeah, the notes, this is not the only thing that we learn. I mean, I'm just coloring a little part that of something that maybe it's obvious that it's interconnected. Like for example, maybe here at age 5 you um yeah, you learned something about dinosaurs. This was the first time, and then you learn something else, and then something else, and then everything is dinosaurs, obviously, right? um but actually, as we grow up, we start understanding more in patterns, not only in topics. So this gets even more and more complex. I just tried to make it as simple as we could. Um, but this could be interconnecting things that not necessarily are interconnected, because instead of a topic, this could be a pattern, or in my case, a sequence. So what I was the pattern, instead of topics or interests, I see in patterns. So maybe this was the first time that I saw this pattern, and then this was the second one, and then I kind of like mixed them all, connected, and now I'm trying to put more in this. I can also explain this as if there were pieces of a puzzle. So as long as time passes by, yeah, I don't know, you see something in your kid, and then it's off, and then something else, and it's off, and then something else, and then it's off. And then something happens, you gather all this information, and then you're like, okay, why like why this happens to my kid, to my son, right? Like he goes to kindergarten, something happens, they don't understand him, there's pain in your heart, and then this is what happens. You ask yourself why, and then your brain kind of like does insight, and you say, okay, I think we need to go to the doctor. I need to push for this, for him to be assessed or something. There's something inside of you, like I need to seek. This is the seek state. So we start with an open state where you gather information, then something happens and you're like, no, then it's closed, then it's seek. Okay, you start doing this, trying to see things from a lot of ways. And then you connect the hurt with this need, this love to understand this, and then you hold here, and then the planets align, and you're like, okay, I don't know exactly perfectly what's happening, but I really need to follow this, my instinct, and then you push for it. And then actually something was happening, and well, they discover, and this is, I'm talking a little bit about, also I'm introducing a little bit of confirmation bias, because so a lot of people feel very skeptic about this. I was skeptic about this. I've been doing research on this my whole life. Yeah, since I was 17, 16. And the way that I see it is that I also think I was very skeptic, because I was trying to move away from confirmation bias, and I studied a lot confirmation bias and suggestion, and how how it works. And actually confirmation bias, which is seen as something really bad in mental health, I started questioning myself this past couple of months, and trying to understand better, and did a lot of research on it. And in some way, like without without questioning it, it's the point where it gets dangerous. It's the same as pain solely without love, it's dangerous. It can be bad for you, or the same if there's only love of something. And with confirmation bias is the same. So actually this process, this kind of processing, or where you process or how you process data, in a way, it is catalyzed by confirmation bias. You can see it very clearly here because, but the difference is, well, all the differences is, it's obviously it's attention. So when your brain can hold two opposites that are very contradicting, it can be love and pain, it can be order and chaos, it can be, in this case, refutation and confirmation at the same time. This is where the magic happens and the intuitive thinking and the knowledge comes to you. This is how PNP became so important to me in my research and solving this problem. Not solving it because in my case, or at least for my research, it's not a problem, but more something that heart can explain. And this is the way that we can explain this. And it actually gave me a lot of information, a lot of data, and a lot of help in understanding a little bit more intuitive thinking because, obviously, I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but this model explains very well this jumps, how you can jump and how you can solve problems in like polynomials. And I will make a video of that specifically, but this is basically how I solve problems. So I start from the start and I go like this, and then I come from this because this is very, so the only thing that I'm good at is that I can see things like this very easily. It's something that comes to me, but it's very difficult to explain with words. So this is how I always, this is why I, instead of using language, it was easier for me to explain this with math and with logic. And I also explored why was it so easy for me to explain like that, not, or even with grammar or with really simple math, but not with words. And it made a lot of sense when I discovered why, and it's how my brain works. But and why and the nature of how you have to explain how you have to dissect information, because it means, so when you are all the time seeing things like this, it is very, like, what's actually difficult for you is to do this and think in a linear way. This is what's painful for me. It's painful for me to see things like this. I usually process the world in this other way. Oh, I can't. So I kind of had to reverse engineer how people think normally, and that's what I've been doing my whole life. So I think I said too much. It's not important, really, but I hope it's more clear to you. I don't know. Okay, see you.